Lifting up our hearts to heaven, let us imitate the hierarchy of the ages.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to Jesus Christ.
Glory be forever.
I was going to call your attention to two things this morning. First off are the vestments that I'm wearing, and secondly is the presence of a new podium. So if you haven't noticed, it's a little bit shorter. And the reason for it is because I brought it from home. It's not new, I didn't go out and buy it, and there certainly wasn't anything wrong with the old. But the reason that I have it is it was a gift that was given to me. I was very close with one of my high school teachers through my later years, I think sophomore on. And when, in my senior year, he retired. And so he was sort of giving his stuff away. He was our mythology teacher. And I was with him all the time. I was a student aide, I was in all of his classes, the whole deal. And I took his podium. He was everything that he had in his classroom he gave away, and I took it, and he signed it for me. And because he taught mythology, he used to refer to himself as the man, the myth, the legend. And then he wrote on the inside of the sort of lift-up part here, you, addressed it to me, he's like, Nate, you are now the man, the myth, and the legend. Carry the tradition. And I left this sitting at my parents' house for quite a while. I wasn't going to take it to seminary, I had no room for it. And finally I brought it back and stuffed it into my tiny car and made sure that I brought it here. And the reason that I wanted to make sure that I brought it here is because I thought, one, when I left high school, that I was going to go into education, and someday it would be in my classroom. And as I still have use for a podium, it really fit. And I opened it up when Pawnee and I were home with my parents last nativity. And inside of it I found a little slip of paper that had his email address in it. And I sent him an email saying, I hope that you're doing well, I hope your retirement's going great. I still have a podium, and I became a priest. And I plan on using it. And he emailed me back, and he said retirement's going well, thank God. But he told me that he could never imagine it being used for something so brief. That he's happy that he wanted it to end up in another classroom, but he could never have dreamed that it would come somewhere like this. And then the vestments that I'm wearing, as most of mine are from my home parish priest, Father Ken. These, specifically, I saw him wear a lot longer than I saw him with any of the other ones that I've been given. And to me, even though I've asked Pawnee numerous times if they look like they're too big, they feel like they're too big on them. They feel like they don't fit. And what it feels like is that time when, if you're young and you sort of put on your parents' shoes and try to walk around, and you feel a little bit awkward and stumbly because, of course, they don't fit. You're trying to fill something because you want to reach that next stage. You want to be like that. And I was thinking about both of these things, that we tend to focus a lot on what we want to be to each other. Before my ordination, I was a wreck. You can ask Pawnee. I was an absolute mess. And I told her once that I feel incredibly unworthy. How can I ever carry the hopes that people have for me on my back? How can I attain to something so great that will do them justice? And eventually I got over it. I talked with my home parish priest about it. He's like, well, you're not worthy. You're not. God makes you worthy. So you have that to help you out. But it also reminded me that it's a human trait of ours to focus so highly on exactly what we hope to be for other people that we never think about exactly what we should hope to be for God. I hope that I do justice to the vestments that I'm wearing, to the podium that I stand at, and to the relatives who died before they got to see me become a priest. I hope. But what I should hope for more is that I do everything right by God. That God looks upon me, and like he says in the scriptures, well done, good and faithful servant. And I think that if we tend to all focus on that, would God look at this and say, well done, good and faithful servant? I feel that if we do that, if we act in the accordance that way, that nobody here on earth would be able to look at us and still be displeased with what we've done. And if they are, well then that's their sort of issue in seeing things the right way. But we tend so highly to focus on exactly what other people think. And we see this over and over. One of the most dangerous and most humbling parts of the gospel that a priest can read, we read around Lent, and it is when Christ admonishes, well not admonishes, tears down the Pharisees. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites. Over and over, a bunch of different phrases. And the one, he literally says, for you value the praise of men above the praise of God. You love long prayers so that people look at you and see that you are holy. Not that you actually are, but they think you are. And then even if we look all the way back to the Old Testament, the nation of Israel had no king. God was their king. They didn't need one. They had the direct presence of the Lord to show them the way, to lead them. And then finally they kept complaining to God, saying, other nations have kings, why can't we have one? Other nations look at us and wonder why we have no king. To which God kept telling them, you don't need one, you have me. And then finally he relented and said, I will give you a king, but you will suffer for it the way that every other nation with a king suffers. I'm not going to make you suffer. I'm not going to punish you for having a king. But you will not have me to lead you and protect you anymore as your only king. You will have to deal with everything the way that other nations do. And what we learn from this is that our hope of receiving praise or receiving sort of validation from other people are incredible reliance on what other people think of us is nothing new to human nature. We've been doing this since the beginning. And God kept trying to tell us, if you only look at me, everything will be fine. Look at me. I've already taught you the right way. If you do everything in that accordance, no one will ever find you in reproach. No one will ever speak badly of you. And I promise this. Of course, God doesn't make idle promises. And so if we, no matter the wonderful and good memories and emotions that are put to what we have, if we hope and we look to God first, that he can look at us and say, well done, good and faithful servant. That won't just be good enough for other people. It will be better than what they could have imagined. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Glory be to Jesus Christ.
Glory be to God.